My parents tried to give my inheritance to their golden daughter, but my grandparents had a surprising twist in store. My parents, especially my dad, Richard, have always favored my 26-year-old younger sister, Lily, over me. This preference began in our early years and only grew worse as we matured. From my earliest recollections, Lily was the golden child. When I was 5 and she was 2, our parents threw her a lavish birthday party that included a bouncy castle, a petting zoo, and professional face painters. That same year, I celebrated my birthday with a small family dinner and a store-bought cake. This set the tone for the years that followed. As we grew older, the distinctions became more obvious. Lily consistently got the best clothes, the newest gadgets, and the most attention. When I was 10 years old, I remember saving months' worth of allowance for a new bike. Lily threw a fit when she saw it because she wanted one too, instead of teaching her to save. My parents went ahead and bought her a bike that was even better than mine. School was another setting where the bias was apparent. My parents typically missed my school events, but they were at all of Lily's. In 4th grade, I played the lead in the school play. I was so excited that I practiced for weeks. On the night of the play, my parents were an hour late, so they missed my big scene. Lily had complained of a stomachache, so they were comforting her. Later on, she was okay. They had just lost track of time while playing with her. Nothing I ever did seemed adequate. In terms of academics, in middle school, I frequently earned straight A's, joined the math club, and even won first place in a regional science fair. My parents barely recognized these accomplishments. But when Lily received a B+ on one test in her weakest subject, they celebrated with a special dinner and bought her a new phone to encourage her to keep improving. High school, in particular, was challenging. I engaged in every activity I could with the goal of winning their approval. In addition to maintaining a 4.0 GPA, I was the debate team captain and editor of the school newspaper. Lily breezed through school, just maintaining a C average, and she spent a lot of time with her friends. I was selected as one of 2 junior year applicants from our school to take part in a renowned Harvard summer program. I felt wonderful, and it was such an honor when I broke the news to my dad over dinner. He shrugged and shifted the conversation to Lily's upcoming dance performance. "That's nice," my mother, Susan, said at least. But she quickly moved on. When Lily's concert fell on the day I was leaving for Harvard, my parents wanted to see her sing, so they were unable to take me to the airport. I requested a lift from a friend's parents. The process of applying to colleges was another excruciating one. I spent months honing my essays, participating in extracurricular activities, and studying for the SAT. I was accepted to a number of prestigious universities and awarded a substantial scholarship to attend the university of my choice. My parents' response to this, when I brought it up to them over dinner, was hardly bearable. "That's good, but don't let it go to your head. College isn't everything," suggested my dad. My mother added, "Just keep us in mind when you're off becoming a big shot." However, when Lily barely made it through high school and decided against going to college, my parents were very accommodating. They respected her for knowing herself and for not conforming to social norms. They even bought her a car as a graduation present, something they had never done for me. I suffered emotionally as a result of this ongoing partiality. I struggled with anxiety and hopelessness throughout my teens and early 20s. I realized that my parents' behavior was not my fault when I started therapy in college. It took me years to build my self-esteem and learn how to validate myself independently of my parents' approval. Despite the lack of support from my immediate family, I was nevertheless able to live a respectable life. I had a respectable position in finance by the time I graduated with honors from college. And by the time I was 27, I had even bought my own home. My parents aren't, but I'm proud of my achievements. The current drama then starts here. My grandfather, George, passed away not too long ago on my dad's side. He was a prosperous businessman who began with nothing and left behind a large estate. According to his will, he divided his assets evenly between his children, parents, and siblings, as well as his grandchildren, which include myself, Lily, and our cousins. I received a sizable share of the inheritance, about $500. It would have enabled me to make investments for the future, settle my school loans, and maybe start my own business in the future. I was pleased with this unexpected windfall and the opportunities it might bring. However, it was evident that my parents were upset when the will was read. They later pulled me aside and told me that they thought it was unfair because I was given an equal share. Lily, who works part-time at a coffee shop and lives in our parents' basement, said that she was in more need of the money because she was in pain. I tried to remain composed despite my shock. I explained that they had no influence over Grandpa George's decision-making process. They urged me to behave honorably and give Lily my due share. When I declined, they were furious and started accusing me of being selfish and lacking gratitude. They talked about every instance where they had assisted me that my dad could remember. He prioritized paying for my medically necessary braces, purchasing me the absolute minimum of school supplies, and letting me live at home when I was in college, even though I worked part-time to help with the money. Conveniently, he ignored the fact that they still support Lily at the age of 25, the car they provided her, and the numerous shopping sprees. The situation quickly became more serious. My dad decided to take care of matters himself. Acting as the executor of the will, he said he would interpret Grandpa George's intentions and give Lily my entire share in addition to her own inheritance. He claimed that if Grandpa had been aware of our particular circumstances, he would have wanted this. I was shattered. In addition to being clearly against the law, this served as a horrible reminder of how little my parents valued me. I attempted to reason with them by pointing out that Grandpa had always treated all of his grandchildren equally, and that he was aware of our situation. My mother then accused me of disparaging the departed by suggesting that Grandpa might have wanted something different from what my dad was supporting. When I brought up some recollections of Grandpa, encouraging me to pursue my academic and professional ambitions, my parents dismissed them as misrepresentations. They said Grandpa had quietly expressed concern about Lily's future and wanted to make sure she was taken care of. When I questioned why he hadn't just written the will that way back then, they didn't have an answer. Although Lily felt uncomfortable with the situation, she refrained from criticizing our parents. Mom and Dad know best. She simply shrugged when I attempted to speak with her alone. It was clear that she would not be of much assistance. Feeling deceived and hurt, I sought advice from my paternal grandmother, Margaret, Grandpa George's widow. She was furious when she heard what was going on. She told me that Grandpa had not intended this at all, and that my parents had no power to change the will. Grandma supplied some information that made things clear. My parents reportedly asked Grandpa to leave everything to Lily in his will a number of years ago. Grandpa had adamantly protested, stating that he believed all of his grandchildren should receive the same treatment. In his will, he had even stipulated that anyone contesting the fair distribution would forfeit their share. Armed with this information, I took on my folks. They were shocked when Grandma revealed that they had previously tried to influence the will. My dad tried to defend it by saying they were only considering Lily's future, but I could see the guilt on their faces. Grandmother took immediate action. She contacted her lawyer and other executors of the will. She also contacted my dad's siblings, who were just as outraged by what he was trying as she was. Together, they thwarted my dad's plot and ensured that the terms of the will would be followed. My parents are not thrilled with me, but they had to back off. They accused me of inciting the family against them and contended that I ought to have resolved this internally rather than enlisting outside help. My mother wept, saying I had lied to them and divided the family. When my dad threatened to completely cut me out of their will, I responded that I had never expected anything from them anyhow. They are now threatening to cut off all contact if I take the inheritance. My father even said that if I were to inherit their home, I would not be allowed to live there. My mother delivered a particularly scathing blow when she said that my taking the money shows that I never really loved them and was only eager to make money off their death. The extended family is divided on the issue. Some of my cousins are supportive because they recognize the historical partiality and respect my self-advocacy. Some people think that since family unity comes before money, I should have given in to keep the peace. This has caused tension in both my parents and my dad's relationships. Even though my dad's siblings are unquestionably on my side, Lily is caught up in all of this. She told me in private that she is not prepared to confront our parents, even though she feels horrible and didn't ask for this. I don't really blame her because she has been taught her entire life to rely on them and look for their approval. A part of me still wishes she would assist me just once. This situation has evoked a great deal of resentment and pain from the past. I find myself thinking back on all the occasions when Lily was given preference over me, including the birthday parties I missed, the school events my parents skipped, and the unacknowledged accomplishments. It appears that a lifetime of injustice is being brought to a head by this one incident, despite the fact that the entire situation has generated a great deal of division within the family. I am standing my ground and intend to inherit what Grandpa George intended. Family gatherings have become awkward, and my parents hardly ever speak to me anymore. For the first time, since I could tolerate the accusing looks and chilly shoulders, I skipped our monthly family dinner last week. Despite the chaos, a small part of me feels in control for the first time in my life. I'm facing my parents' unjust treatment, stating my worth, and refusing to be dismissed. It's simultaneously awful and liberating. I believe I'm correct, but I'm exhausted by the family drama. I've started having anxiety episodes again, something I haven't had since college. I am considering going back to therapy to help manage all of this stress. Should I have taken my inheritance and refused to live up to my parents' expectations to keep that peace? Should I have just given Lily the cash? I'm tired of being the family scapegoat, but I'm also afraid of losing my family entirely. Any advice or point of view would be greatly appreciated. Update. Much has transpired since my initial post half a year ago. I want to express my gratitude to everyone for their advice and support, which really helped me get through difficult times. Let me begin by discussing the legal side of things. I did consult my own lawyer, as many of you suggested. He confirmed that my dad's attempt was unlawful and that I was fully entitled to inherit. He assisted me in documenting everything and prepared me to respond lawfully if necessary. Luckily, that is not how things happened. My grandma, Margaret, and her lawyer, together with my dad's brothers, resolved their differences out of court. The will was executed just as planned, and I received my entire fortune. My dad's attempts at will manipulation resulted in his removal as an executor. This process, which took several weeks, was a little taxing after threatening legal action, heated meetings, and irate phone calls. My parents were forced to back off since the law was clear. However, the family fallout has been notable and is still going on. My parents first reaffirmed their position. They accused me of neglecting my sister and being greedy. Additionally, they attempted to incite other family members against me by spreading claims that I had somehow forced Grandpa George to give me money. Fortunately, the majority of the family was aware of their deceit. There was one particularly terrible incident at a family get-together approximately a month after the will was accepted. My aunt was hosting and hadn't invited my parents, so they caused a commotion when they showed up without warning. My dad began to yell that I had stolen from Lily and turned Grandma against her. My mother threw an old photo album right at my feet and said I had ruined all these wonderful memories. It was awful and uncomfortable. It took a few family members to calm things down and convince my parents to go. My grandmother, bless her, was my strongest ally during this entire ordeal. She told stories of my grandfather, who was always proud of my accomplishments, and who particularly wanted to ensure that all of his grandchildren had equal opportunities. She also claimed that Grandpa had kept a scrapbook of my achievements, including copies of my college acceptance letters, media clippings of my academic achievements, and even the program from the school play that my parents had been late for. This realization was both beautiful and heartbreaking. Additionally, Grandma offered to update the family's records. She planned a family get-together without my parents there and detailed the whole history of my parents' prejudice, including incidents I had either completely forgotten or had never heard of. It was heartbreaking to finally have someone acknowledge the injustice I had endured for years, but it also brought up old wounds. In all of this, my sister, Lily, finally found her voice. After considerable introspection and several lengthy conversations with our grandma, she personally came to me and apologized for not standing up for me earlier. She claimed that, although she believed our parents' preference was wrong, she had been too afraid to question it. We talked extensively and passionately about our early years and how they affected us both. Being the favorite child wasn't as amazing as it seemed. Lily acknowledged she felt a lot of pressure to meet our parents' expectations and never learned how to stand on her own 2 feet. She related stories of how she longed to do things independently, but our parents would step in and take care of everything for her, denying her the chance to grow and learn from her mistakes. This conversation was a turning point in our relationship. We started to repair the sibling bond that our parents' favoritism had severed. Through this family turmoil, the two of us have been getting together for coffee on a regular basis to talk and support one another. Everyone was shocked when she announced that she would use her inheritance to pay for education. She said she was inspired to take charge of her own life after witnessing me defend myself. She first enrolled in a local community college with the intention of transferring to a 4-year university after deciding what she wanted to study. Our parents gasped with surprise. I think they were aware that Lily had not benefited from their babying. My parents' reactions to all of this have been varied and evolving. At first, they viciously attacked us both since they claimed I turned Lily against them. They attempted to use guilt to get her to drop out of college to support the family. When that didn't work, they changed tactics. My mother started to realize how harmful their behaviors had been after having several lengthy conversations with my grandma and witnessing Lily's remarkable change. She has started therapy to deal with her issues and made some tentative attempts at reconciliation. She apologized, acknowledged that she had been unjust, and asked for an opportunity to make amends. It takes time, and although I'm cautiously optimistic, I'm also setting firm boundaries. Sadly, my dad has been less inclined to take responsibility for his faults. He feels like the victim in all of this and is still quite angry. Since Lily decided to attend college, he has been cold toward her and rarely communicates with me. He has made a few attempts to exert control over us, threatening to sell the house we grew up in if we don't change our ways, or offering to forgive us if we do. It hurts to see him alienate himself from both of his children in this way, even if we are both standing strong. The extended family's dynamics have undergone a significant shift. I now reside nearer to my grandma and my dad's siblings, who have been really supportive. I feel less alone in this battle now that I've heard from my aunts and uncles about how they've dealt with my dad's difficult behavior throughout the years. I've also grown closer to some of my cousins who supported me. We can all catch up without being distracted by the drama of the older generations by starting a monthly cousin supper. I have been using my inheritance well for myself. I feel incredibly financially free now that I have paid off my student loans. I have put together a diverse investment portfolio in collaboration with a financial advisor. Additionally, I have some money saved up for the possibility of starting my own business in the future. I'm looking into starting a community center that offers affordable mental health services and courses on financial literacy. The most important use of the funds, however, has been for me to purchase therapy for myself and offer to do the same for Lily. We are both trying to move past the things that happened to us as children and are learning how to set healthy boundaries with our parents. Even though it's a long path, I already feel like I'm learning more and getting better at overcoming long-term bias and emotional neglect. My life has improved in some surprisingly positive ways as a result of this entire process. I've learned a lot about setting boundaries and protecting myself. Even though I know I made the correct decision, it hasn't always been simple, and there are still challenging days. I'm proud of myself for defying pressure and guilt. One of the most surprising outcomes has been a shift in my career path. Managing all of this family strife and going to therapy has made it easier for me to recognize my own enthusiasm for helping those suffering. Having to deal with all of this dysfunction in my family and going to therapy has made me realize how motivated I am to help people who have experienced similar family dynamics. I'm currently considering going back to school to work as a family therapist and specialize in adult children of emotionally immature parents. I've also been working at a local juvenile facility where I've been helping kids from difficult family situations. It is incredibly fulfilling to be able to provide the kind of support and encouragement I wish I had received as a child. I'm even thinking of spending some of my fortune to start a scholarship fund for kids in similar situations. My communication with Lily has continued to improve every month. We celebrate Siblings Day by doing something fun for the two of us. Last month's hike and lunch was the most relaxed and intimate we've experienced since we were young kids. We are slowly re-establishing our relationship on our own terms, free from the influence of our parents. Things with my parents are still difficult. My mom has been working to mend our connection. She has been going to therapy on a regular basis and has even started to see some of the harm caused by her bias. During a few one-on-one lunches, we have discussed our past and future goals in an open and difficult manner. It's not perfect, but there has been progress. But my dad is still against change. He continues to claim that he did nothing wrong and that Lily and I should be grateful. He skipped a number of family events since he won't be in the same room as me. I'm attempting to let go of my need to force him to change his perspective or regulate his responses, even though it hurts. Grandma Margaret has become a rock for Lily and me. She has also been telling us more stories about our grandfather, who was proud of us for standing up for ourselves. She has been an excellent mediator in family disputes because she consistently advocates for fairness and understanding. Many lessons on the true meaning of family have been taught during the entire process. I've realized that sometimes the family you choose may be more supportive than the one you grew up in. I have become closer to my aunts, uncles, and cousins who supported me over this trip. In addition to creating a close-knit group of friends who have been very beneficial, I've also grown to realize how important it is to set boundaries and take care of myself. I'm getting better at saying no to situations that endanger my mental health, and I no longer feel guilty about prioritizing my own well-being. I had always put off exploring new interests and hobbies because I was so focused on trying to win my parents' approval. I would like to advise people in similar situations to not allow anyone to make them feel guilty about obtaining what is rightfully theirs. It's fair to protect yourself, even if it causes controversy. Despite the complexity of family dynamics, you deserve to be treated fairly. Never forget that it's never too late to start living the life you deserve. If required, seek therapy. Surround yourself with supportive people, and don't be afraid to set boundaries. Your value is determined by who you are, not by how your family treats you. Again, I want to thank all of you for your encouragement and suggestions. It meant more than you would have realized during a really difficult time, even though the path has not been easy. I am looking forward to the future and feel a level of confidence that I have not had in years. I'm eager to see where this new phase of my life will take me, and I'm determined to break the pattern of partiality and improve the connections in my own future family. Thank you for reading. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around.